videos do you think you've done about the Leafs losing to the Bruins?
I don't know. A lot?
Like regular season and playoffs?
I don't know, man. I don't want to know.
You should look it up.
I don't want to look it up.
No, I think it could be fun. Why don't you look it up?
Don't break the fourth wall.
Do not look it up. Okay, fine. Don't look it up.
I can see you.
Let's go!
Good. We all feel good.
Stop! Never gets rusty!
What am I doing?
Into my kitchen! Producer Drew, can you fix all this?
And when it comes to the Toronto Maple Leafs, you can crumple, yeet! Saw that going differently. With you wherever you are, welcome to LFR.
What the heck was that? Leafs lose 4-3 in overtime to the Boston Bruins.
The Leafs frequently lose 4-3 to the Boston Bruins. It's just usually in a series and not a game. Sometimes I think back to the little boy that I was when I started this YouTube channel.
All my hair was brown, I was thinner, and the thinner part I can't blame on Boston, but the gray hairs I do!
And you know the thing, that game actually wasn't that bad. In fact, it was pretty good from the Leafs' perspective, but the ending.
Not just the ending, it could have been like Charlie Coyle, and I'd be like,
I don't know, do we have personal beef with Charlie Coyle? I don't think so.
It was Brad Marchand,
who outside of a few like power play chances earlier in the game had the most ho-hum game that Brad Marchand can have. And then turns out, here, can we put this on the screen? We're gonna have it more times in this video. Turns out, when this happens, he can do something with it. What is this? Ew! Here, let's talk about that game reasonably and unreasonably. What if I told you the Leafs outshot the Bruins in each of the first 3 periods of this game? Well, it's true. The Boston Bruins were outshot by the Leafs in all 3 periods of this game until overtime. Until overtime when the Bruins had 11 shots on goal. Dude, put this on the screen. The Bruins had 11 shots on goal in overtime, which is wild because overtime was less than 5 minutes, and it was the period in which the Bruins had their most shots on goal. The first period, 20 minutes, 7. The second period, 20 minutes, 10. The third period, 20 minutes, 9. They only had 2 periods where they had double-digit shots on goal, and one of them was overtime? In December? Like not the playoffs? When they're 20-minute overtimes? Ew! Anyway, sorry, that's me still getting over the fact that they played a terrible overtime. But listen, before that, they were actually really good, and they were the better team in the first period. But who scored first? Boston. David Pastrnak comes in. He's got a hard enough shot to defend as it is, but it goes off of Morgan Rielly's stick. And in, Joseph Woll can't track it, and it's 1-0 Bruins after 1. And you're a little sad, you're a little mad, but the game is not out of reach. Second period comes. Hey, does someone need their first goal of the season? Well, you know who you're playing, right? The Bruins, in my opinion, did get outplayed by the Leafs in this one, but they scored 2 goals off of very similar looking plays. A lot of people are gonna ooh and ah at the pass, and it was a dirty pass. But look at the Leafs here. David Pastrnak with a nasty pass over to a wide open Kevin Shattenkirk, but look at the problem. TJ Brodie, the only defenseman in front of the net. Where's Morgan Rielly? Oh, Morgan Rielly is up at the point because he was following his man, as lots of defensemen do all the time. But the thing when lots of defensemen do that all the time is a forward's got to pick him up, and they didn't. Like, once again, just look at this. Who, me? Who, me? Yes, you! One of you, man! Even though Shattenkirk had no goals leading up to this game, and he wasn't the only one, anyone with that much time and space can score a goal. Guess what? It's 2-0 Boston. And again, I still think the Leafs are playing better than the Bruins. I'm a little sadder and I'm a little madder, but the game is not out of reach. But we're coming up on the halfway mark of the game, and even though the Leafs are out shooting the Bruins, and I think in some situations outplaying the Bruins, the theme for this game is even though the Leafs were outshot, and I saw too many people saying like, Ullmark, oh my goodness, Ullmark. Like, he was good. I didn't even think he was the sharpest goalie in this game. I know the deserve to win-o-meter at the end of the game says that the Leafs like mopped the Bruins. The Leafs should have won that game like 81% of the time, something like that. I thought the shots that Joseph Woll faced were far more dangerous from the Bruins. Subplot to the game. So the Leafs are down 2-0. And at the beginning of the game, I'm looking at Austin Matthews and I'm watching him hard. And I'm going, you know what? I'm getting kind of mad. I'm getting kind of mad because he's on a slump. He hasn't done much in that slump. Earlier this season, he had some slumpish play, but I was like, you know what? He's playing like a maniac out there. He's fast. He's hitting everything. He's blocking everything. He's making things happen, even if the puck is not going in. And I'm watching him. I'm just grilling him through the TV and going, oh, he's floating out there. And then midway through the first period, I'm like, oh, okay, no. That last shift was pretty good. And then his shifts consistently got better, and I'm like, oh, okay, Austin. Oh, you know what? He's playing okay tonight. Then it built through the second period, like, okay, he's got to get one. And then he gets the top line of Nyes, Nylander, and Matthews, maybe their best shift as a unit. Because for as good a night as Linus Ullmark had, they actually beat him twice on this shift. Nyes going crazy. There's a million rebounds. Nylander has it, backhands it into an open net. He's actually stopped by Charlie McAvoy. And it's Austin Matthews into the open net on yet another rebound. Relentless pressure here. And now the Leafs are in the game. And that is how the Leafs go into second intermission. And you're less sad and you're less mad, but you still need to tie it. Tie. Why does that word have significance when it comes to the Toronto Maple Leafs? Oh, because of the guy who played for them, whose kid now plays for them. Dude, I don't know what Max Domi's got to do. He had one, like, bizarre shift early in the game where every decision he made was bad. But usually, he's pretty good, man. With Max Domi, a lot of people were talking about the big zero, as in he had 0 goals. He came into the game with 11 assists. After this game, he had 11 assists in 22 games. That dude's on pace for 41 assists. But if you don't score, people notice. I thought this line was clicking all night, but this play, to me, is all Robertson. It's a good read from all involved, but Robertson is the creator of all this. He helps create the turnover at the point by applying pressure. He's really fast. His skating has improved. Jarnkrok gets it up to Robertson on the wing, and we all know what he's about to do. And I think there's a skill to pulling off the thing that everyone knows you're trying to do. Robertson sauces the puck just over the defender's stick. He gets a piece of it, but not enough of it. Max Domi, it's like he has half an hour to prepare for this thing. Picks it up, swoops to the backhand, score! Here, forget me screaming here, just show Max, Look at this, Don't tell me that goal didn't mean nothing. Look at that. Maximum Domi ties it. Dad joke. Hilarious. It got more hilarious like 3.5 years ago to me. I don't know why. Max Domi ties it 2-2, and we are heading to over. Oh, sorry. It's the Leafs, I just assumed. Now watch. For the second time in this game. It's not as egregious as the Shattenkirk goal, but it's no good still. Bruins are working around the Leaf zone pretty well, and they're down low, and Simone Benoit is on the puck carrier, and he goes up to the blue line. In turn, the Bruins go, hey, one of their defenders is up at the blue line, put it on net. Now, Riley and Kampf are in front. So Kampf is filling in for Benoit. Riley, I'm not sure if Riley was just coming on and Benoit was at the end of a long shift. I'm not exactly sure. All I know is that the duo of Riley and Kampf were completely outmanned. Like, they were just out-muscled away from their ice. Trent Frederick, who took a Jacob Trouba baseball swing to the head and barely flinched, scores his 6th of the season, and it's 3-2 Bruins late in the game. And now it's like, okay, the moral victories are cool and all, but like, you've played pretty well. It was certainly an improvement on the last time you played the Bruins, and you're going to get a worse result. Oh, and your goalie was pretty good, just like the last time against the Bruins, actually. Yeah, no, I'm greedy about points in the standings and pride. Like, I want the Leafs to win, man. But in order to win, they have to tie it. And they do, with lots of time to spare. Sorry, I meant less than 6 seconds. John Tavares goes to the net, goes through the net, and is kind of pushed into the goalie. And the goalie thought he had it, and the goalie didn't have it. And Jarnkrok goes to the net, and Riley goes to the net, and everyone goes to the net. Who does the puck come to? Matthews, obviously. He's lucky he didn't hit one of his teammates. He's lucky one of his teammates didn't accidentally block the shot. But they didn't. This dude only scores in games where he can have multiple goals. I can't explain it. His 16th, Poppy is back. The Leafs are back. They've tied the thing. Now, after the Leafs lost, spoiler, the Leafs end up losing this overtime, I tweeted about how the Leafs are bad at overtime, and people were really confused. They're like, what? No, they're not. And it's weird because I've been saying this all season long, and the reason I've been saying it, despite the record, is because they're bad. The Leafs had 5 shots in overtime, which is actually usually pretty good for overtime, considering it's 5 minutes or less. The problem is the Bruins had 11! Like, what's the record for shots given up in an overtime before you lose? The Bruins had 11 shots in overtime. That means Joseph Woll stopped 10. Your goalie gave you 10 saves in a regular season overtime. You didn't get to a shootout. And we gotta stop with the too many men on the ice complaining, because it's not just that the Leafs are the worst too many men on the ice team in the league. They are the worst line-changing team in the league. And I know Nylander is at the center of the ire, and like, dude, he was terrible on this play. But here's what I think happened. So look at this. Tavares is on the ice. Willie is directing traffic, but I think that's just a decoy because the Bruins are all over Tavares. Riley is trying to get on the ice, and Riley cannot get on the ice, and if he can get on the ice, he cannot touch the puck or any Boston Bruin because Jake McCabe is not off the ice. And the reason Jake McCabe is not off the ice is because he is not skating off of the ice. Move! Look at this. Can you zoom in on just McCabe? He's gliding! Perfectly upright! Now, the mistake that Riley makes is he, like, goes forward instead of coming back, I guess. But that, even at the time, Nylander had the puck, so he would have just been guessing. You don't usually get on the ice going, you know what, I wonder if the puck carrier is going to fall down. Maybe he could have gone straight out and then let his momentum carry him forward or backward, depending on what happened in the play. I don't know. A lot of people are rightly pointing out John Tavares' miserable back check on this play, and it's true. But to me, it all starts with this. This is so bad, dude. So bad. Get off the ice. You're done. Get off. Like, okay, you're tired. Dude, there's less than a minute to go in this overtime. You're not going to play again. You're definitely not going to the shooter. Get off! Leave it all out to get off! So what happens? Willie falls into Marchand. He then tries to put Marchand in the figure 4 leg lock, which is actually kind of dangerous with skates. Now I'm just going to leave him on for the rest of the video. Too lazy. Actually, no, I can't. They're making squeaky sounds against the ball that I sit on. Then David Pastrnak gets a breakaway, and that is a worst-case scenario against the Boston Bruins. Who do you want to get the puck less than David Pastrnak? Nobody! And Woll stops him. And that might have worked out. It might have worked out okay if Riley wasn't the only person back! Dude, at first, I'm sure Tavares was like, okay, well, the puck might come to me, so I'll stay up here. Once it was very, very, very obvious to anybody watching the game that that wasn't going to happen and it's emergency and you got to get back, just get back. You might have been there in time. Like, who knows? Who knows? Or you take an option away and it allows Joseph Woll to, like, observe this. Get back! Live to fight another day! Like, okay, maybe you get scored on 5 seconds later. Like, try! You can play a great game. And I thought they did. I thought this team did play a great game. None of it matters if you're not willing to pay attention to detail and work. This is consistently the story with this team. They have the little brain farts, and they don't work as hard as their opponent. These are all guys having great seasons. McCabe's been great. Willie's obviously been great. Tavares has been great. That's not good enough. It's not good enough. You played good enough to win. You might have won if you tried as hard as the other team. You didn't. Questions. Will Woll ever not face 30-plus shots? Not with them playing like this, no. And also they're a defensive injury away from disaster. Honest question. Why is OT so stressful? So this question is obviously from a Bruins fan, and I would like to thank the Boston Bruins for making this overtime stressful, because the last overtime that the Leafs had was unwatchable nonsense. I couldn't wait for it to get to the shootout. So even though the Leafs lost, thank you for the most entertaining overtime I've seen in weeks. Was this Nylander's first WTF game he's had in a while? No, I'm not going to say WTF because his line was incredible. 5-on-5. They were. Nyes, Matthews, Nylander had an incredible night. It was the first game where he looked like the William Nylander I wouldn't give $10 million to. The William Nylander of last year and years before. The William Nylander who obviously has elite offensive capabilities, but just kind of does whatever he wants the other end of the ice. Which, guys, even the biggest Willie supporters Even the biggest Willie supporters, you have to admit, dude has a tendency to float in his own end. Except he hasn't this year. This year he's been an absolute maniac at every point of the ice. He's been one of the best players in the league. Tonight he was just a very good player. Do you see the difference? Very good players don't get to ask for the amount of money he's asking for. Elite players do. There were key moments in this game where he didn't make elite plays. How are you feeling about the team just over 1/4 of the way through the season? I mean, they're fine. Like, considering the injuries that they have on the back end, like, the fact that they're finding ways to pick up points. Wool's been very good. Sammy, I know, hasn't been great, but he's been better than he was at the beginning of the season. Like, they're not losing games consistently because of their goaltending, if that makes sense. I don't even know if they're consistently losing games consistently because of their defense, or their blue liners, I should say. It's the team defense thing that was, and maybe will forever be a problem for them. That snot that Brad Treliving has been looking for, I think they have it. Like, even the guys just filling in, like Lagesson tried to take someone's head off tonight. Benoit, you know, Tyler Bertuzzi. Earlier this season, I said, Tyler Bertuzzi, like, get off of my team. He did. In my defense, he did. That version of Tyler Bertuzzi is off this team. He's long gone. He's great now. He's been great basically since that Bruins game, the first one. But, like, this team is, by their own admission, overachieving. Like, just picking up points, which is good. But they're probably overachieving, not playing their best hockey, which is their words, not mine. And they're still on the upper part of middle of the pack. Like, they're fine. They're between fine and good, which is fine and good, but you can do better. By their own admission, they can do better. This last one is going to be a topic probably on Monday's podcast. It's a tweet from Andrew Raycroft, which, there's a name. Ryan Reeves played 2 shifts after the first period for the Leafs tonight. Apropos of nothing, Sam Lafferty scored his 6th goal of the season tonight. Cool. Listen, when the Leafs got a 5th round pick for Sam Lafferty with no salary retention, I was happy about it because, all right, you're not going to play Sam Lafferty. That's fine. You're not going to play him. You might as well get something for him. And if you don't have to give up an asset, you actually get an asset in return. That's a good trade. That's why I was on board with the trade at first. Listen, you committed to having Ryan Reeves in the lineup. So if that's what you're committed to, then do it. And we're a quarter of the way through the season, and we're not even committed to Ryan Reeves being in the lineup when he's in the lineup. I'd call him irrelevant in this game, but that's not true. He was actually a negative in this game on account of he got that penalty on Patra, they're calling him. And, like, it was a bad enough hit to be a penalty, but a soft enough hit to not actually be painful. Like, he let up, but it was obviously late and boarding. And what are you doing, Ryan? And don't come at me with, oh, Steve, you asked him to do that. No, I didn't. Not that. When I said be tougher and answer the bell and stick up for your teammate, what is that? What is that? Like, dude, look at this tweet from Michael DeStefano. He goes, it's still absurd that Toronto opted to make Sam Lafferty, $1.15 million, a cap casualty because they needed to force Ryan Reeves, $1.35 million, onto the roster. Lafferty on ice at 5-on-5. 16 goals for, 6 goals of his own, and 7 goals against. Reeves on ice at 5-on-5. 2 goals for, 1 goal of his own, 12 against. And with Ryan Reeves, I've said stuff like, don't show me the numbers, shut up with the numbers. Ryan Reeves is going to have bad numbers, but you know why he's on this team. Yeah, I know why he's allegedly on this team. Like, but he doesn't do any of those things, so get off the team? Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? He's either not in the lineup for a player who's better at hockey, or he's in the lineup, not getting played, not contributing positively in hockey sense, not contributing positively in a physical sense. What are we doing? What are we doing? We're 1/12 of the way through his Leaf contract. If you think about it, we're a quarter of the way through his first season out of 3. And you know what they say, guys get better going into their late 30s and approaching 40. Like, what do we... If you can find a taker for this guy, why don't you do it? Dude, I would love... Like, this guy must tell the best jokes, the craziest stories. Why? Why is he in the lineup? Why? Like, we don't have the receipt for Sam Lafferty. Like, we can't undo that. That's fine. We have to do what's best for the team moving forward. And by Sheldon Keefe's own admission with his lineup choices, moving forward, the best move is not playing Ryan Reaves. So, move on. So, that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. The Leafs actually have 4 days off coming up: Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and they don't play again until Thursday when they take on Ottawa before Nashville on the Saturday. And, I'm going to be doing a stream for the Ottawa game. Forgot to tell you that. But perhaps I should use the next 4 days to make some more content. Just throwing that out there. And also click like and subscribe. Steve, do the outro the way you usually do it. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell your friends. See how that was mostly a good video and I screwed it up at the end? That was what that game was. I'm done. I'm done.